Welcome to another video. Now, what is going to happen to house prices once our lockdown restrictions are lifted? Now, I recently made a video where I talked about the possible property boom followed by a big crash, which is mainly down to three reasons, such as the low interest rates, the extended stamp duty holiday, and the introduction of 95% mortgages. Now, this video caused a bit of a stir, and although a lot of people agreed with what I had to say, there were one or two that strongly disagreed. And having watched that video back, I realised that it wasn't actually very well structured. I just literally grabbed my camera and started talking. And because of this, I actually missed out on a few very important points. So I'm going to cover those in this video. And I'm going to explain what is going to happen to property prices once we come out of lockdown. If you haven't seen my previous video, make sure to check it out after you watch this one. So some of the important points that I missed out are consumer spending. Now, this is a really important point to make because over the past 12 months, consumer spending has dropped dramatically. And it's no surprise because obviously shops have been closed, restaurants have been closed, we've had travel restrictions amongst a lot of other things, which has meant that households have not been able to spend the money that they would usually spend. Now, because of this surplus money what households now have, we've seen an increase in two things. And the first one being investing. Now, there's been a massive increase in new online trading accounts and stocks and shares ISAs and investment accounts. So people have seen this as an opportunity to invest the money that they haven't been able to spend over the last 12 months. And it's certainly a good thing that people have been putting money away and saving it. And the second thing is property. Now, we've also seen a boom in property prices over the last 12 months. And as I've already mentioned, this has been fueled by the ultra low interest rates and the stamp duty holiday. Another factor that we need to think about is just the general human nature to want more. And to be honest, people have been bored during the last 12 months. So investing and buying property or moving house is one of the only few things that we've been able to do. And this has definitely contributed to the spike in house prices. I've done it, you've probably done it. There's times when you feel like you just need to do something, whether it's decorate a room in your house or buy a new car or whatever it may be. But over the last 12 months, we've been restricted. So property's been one of the only things that we've been able to carry on doing. And it's no surprise that the demand for property has been increasing. And if you think about it, the last 12 months has been a great time for people to buy houses because they've not been going on holiday. I doubt they've been buying new cars because they can't drive anywhere, can't eat out at nice fancy restaurants or celebrate birthdays. So a lot of people would have seen this as a great time to actually move house. Now, this isn't my opinion, it's a fact. And people investing more money over the last 12 months is also a fact. However, I'm now going to give you my opinion on what is going to happen once the lockdown restrictions have ended. So what is going to happen when Boris lifts the lid on this lockdown? So when we come out of lockdown, people are going to be itching for the things we've been missing out on over the last 12 months, including holidays, meals out, going to concerts, spas, going to the pub. Everything that we used to do that we classed as a luxury, people are going to be itching to do that even more when we come out of lockdown. And polls have already shown that the number one thing on most people's list is to go on holiday. So all of this surplus cash that households have had over the last 12 months will no longer be going on investing or buying property. They'll be going on luxuries in life. And I think that this will be the turning point that halts the property boom. Because if you think about it, people aren't going to be as interested in moving house or buying property when they can now go on holiday and spend the money on other luxuries. So what about the crash? Now, something else that I missed in the last video was the announcement from Rishi Sunak that corporation tax was going to rise to up to 25%. Now, I know a lot of people think that it's not going to affect them because they're not a corporation or they don't have a massive business, but you have to realise that any tax hike on corporations is going to be fed down into the working class people. It's pretty certain to say that companies are going to be cutting back. Now, this could mean a rise in unemployment. It could mean no pay increase over the next few years. It could even mean that companies relocate to other countries, which all of these three have an adverse effect on our economy. The next thing I missed out is inflation. With inflation, the price of everyday goods are going to go up. Now, we've just mentioned the fact that companies are probably going to be laying people off, unemployment's going to rise, and wages aren't going to be going up anytime soon. Now, combine this with the government squeezing more tax out of everybody, there's going to become a point where people just can't afford the increase in property prices. The boom has to end. And the way things are going, it's going to eventually lead to a crash. Now, I know that some people say that house prices will continually increase because there's such a big demand for them, but it's just not as simple as that. Over the coming years, household incomes are not going to rise. If anything, they will fall due to the amount of unemployment. And as we mentioned, tax hikes and the freezing of the income tax allowance. So, adding all this up, property prices can't keep increasing at the rate they are. Now, I totally agree that property will increase over time, and it always does. And if there's one thing for sure, there will always be dips, spikes, crashes, and booms along the way. So, to sum it up, when lockdown officially ends on the 21st of June, if Boris doesn't move the goalposts, I think that property prices will stop rising. Now, this doesn't mean it's going to crash after lockdown. However, prices should level out before booming and then crashing, or just crashing. So that's about it from me. Please hit the like button and I'll catch you soon.